Good afternoon, free enterprise fans. We are here today with Mom's Spaghetti Club, one of the clubs that you can find on our Discord. How are you doing today, Beauty and Discovery?
I'm doing great, Renler. Looking forward to calling this race. We have got a Yang start to kick it off, only fitting for our first objective being defeat the Fabul Gauntlet. One of two set objectives in this club, the other being the Giant of Babel. The other seven, or no, eight objectives for a total of 10 are randomized. And here in this club, you only need four of those 10 to win game, not even a Z fight in front of you.
And today is potentially one of the shorter ones. We've had it be under 10 minutes before, so this could be over quickly. Depends on really just if they can find a key item.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got the Fable Gauntlet, right? That obviously could be anywhere. But with Burn the Village Mist, with the package, Cure the a Fever at the Sand Ruby, defeat the boss at the Waterfall ordeals, this may just be overworld and done. Like, who needs a
Yeah.
Magma Key? Who needs a hook?
Yeah, we were talking in the race room that objectives 5 through 7 are Boss of Waterfall, Mount Ordeals, and the bosses of Baron Inn, which is actually from another club, Solo Scramble. And we were talking about how we managed to get 2 out of 3 of those with a solo Yang in less than 20 minutes generally. So this could definitely be quick, depending on where the rest of the items and bosses we're looking for are.
Yeah, apparently also an epic crossover episode. But yeah, very interesting. Yang, not the best starting character. He could pull his weight later in a seed, but if you're looking for early power, he's not going to be it. So, you've got Cecil and Fu restricted on this flag set, so they're not going to join in. But off we go with the race.
I'd love to see Rydia and and a Bahamut off the start with your spoon.
Well, I think the racers love to see her as well. Spoon for, team who, you're weak. No, not today. You're not weak. Rydia normally slightly be besmirched. Not today with starting orb. And if you see a early Eddie, you're actually going to take him pretty quickly.
Yeah, this is looking like it could very well be a real jet.
Yeah, you've got early power now. Of course, you need to get to 60 MP to be able to cast that Bahamut, but something like a Hobbs character check and Fabul Castle will get you there relatively quickly. Some J items maybe to get through those. But off Judge Go and Scarcer are two racers today. Go to Watery Pass to do some looting. T Wildish flags on, but sparse 70. So hopefully they find what you're looking for. And there's already your first empty chest.
And it is see no free, so there is no character here for them to pick up.
Unfortunately, didn't look like much of the gear was really worth writing home for. And with Sineki on, not a lot to start with either. Rydia with a whip, so no bow means no back row glitch there. Yang with a poison claw is perfectly serviceable, but the real charm of Yang is his quote unquote punch mage abilities. But Judge Joe realizing, wait a minute, I got a Bahamut orb. I should probably use that right away.
Yes. The key part with the treasury, while it is wildish, max tier 6.
Yeah, that comes out some of the funner stuff. Granted, these two characters don't necessarily need the funner stuff, especially since that Bahamut orb started. But stuff like your Avenger or your Artemis arrows, maybe not quite as important.
Chat helping us out by pointing out whips are back row.
Interesting. I was not familiar with that. Maybe that's why I like doing comms. I learn new things from chat all the time. But that was a Luca key from our bedward. K, no free being off. Uh, maybe not the best item, but hey, it's a key item.
It could also potentially hide your alt gauntlet, and since you only need to kill to win, win game, it is potentially a way to beat it.
Scarce are choosing to go fairly deep in the watery pass and do some more looting, whereas Just Joe is going to go ahead and do some shopping and Troy along with that. And, interesting enough, Hourglass one's typically not in shops, but S Wild is on, which means those shops are going to hold everything you could possibly want, but sell quarters on. So are you going to have the cash for it? That's going to be the struggle. But an Hourglass, especially with a really nasty alt gauntlet, can really save your hide.
Yeah, my favorite bit of this flag, though, is, of course, a trap is on.
Yes, K-Trap, the flag that, I think most people maybe don't like, but we all got to be a little more familiar with the Evelyn Elixir League. Initially K-Moon being off, you think, oh, Darkness Crystal, who cares? But there's so many trap chests, and with certain roles or certain objectives, that can really be interesting. Uh-oh, this may be it right here.
And we have it. We know where our alt gauntlet is already. Up on
Oh,
Hobbs with
goodness.
Fatilla.
So about that Jet Seed prospect.
It's all accessible right away from the overworld. You just need to find your team and get going.
Wow, you don't even need a key item to get this seed done. That is a fairly amazing roll. Now it's just, I think getting that ready up to Bahamut. I mean, obviously you could Bahamut your way through that gauntlet, but woo, that's a lot of MP.
Looks like Kinaza here at the Battle Defense. And of course taking Rydia down, because of course it does.
Doesn't take much at that level. Unfortunately, you really would love to have her up for this. Thankfully not the hardest spot, so those vampires are really going to do so much work here. Really fantastic pickup by Just Joe.
And only getting a bomb summon on the left side of Hobbs here for Scarcer.
Probably looking for one of those intermediate summons to help carry you a little bit through. Unfortunately, not getting it. Bomb, you might as well stick with Chocobo at that point. But Just Joe through that Kinazo.
Yeah, the self to get self glitching.
Absolutely, and only a pink tail from Fabul. So once again, not a useful key item relative to our objectives.
Especially not with that no adamants on.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, and just a lovely Gungnir Spear sitting in Sheila's tower. Really hope we see a Kane coming through here, because that would fit him very well.
It is Distinct 7. We have only seen 3. Oh, self for sale. That will get you through a lot. Honestly, I think the self might even get you through all gauntlet.
Interesting decision by Jojo. Rather than go for the self, just picked up the Boreas. Obviously, I think looking at what you got to do and really only staying on the overworld, I think maybe the thought is that self is a single target. So for stuff, especially like that alt gauntlet, and sure enough, yeah, he picked up those Boreas that are going to hit everything, and figures that's going to do it for him. Scarcer, though, deciding not to back out of the fight, just going ahead and going in with what he has got and getting through it. Maybe slower than you'd like, but nonetheless, you can do it. Rydia's going to hit, Yang's going to hit, and it's not like these enemies have a ton of HP.
No, and they're not hitting that hard.
Tella showing the cockatrice truly how to stone.
So where do you head it from here? Because the options are readily available for Waterfall, Mount Ordeals, and the Baron in bosses. I personally think I'd head up Mount Ordeals and get your Tella online.
Yeah, it's a little tricky. I think part of me is thinking with fantastic J items available in Fable, there was Stardust and Boreas there. You need the cash for them, but they're going to do a lot of work there. Obviously, you have Bahamut, so even if you run into kind of a crummy boss at the waterfall, Bahamut will solve it for you. I'm thinking, let me get enough J items for Yang to play a faux black mage. Yeah, probably head up ordeals first so that Tella can start contributing too, and then just knock out what you got to do. You already have the four in line. Get it done. I mean, I think that's the other fun with S Wild being on is you can find some of those really good J items available in shops that maybe you'd struggle for.
I like that they have synchronized their fights pretty much here at this point.
Yeah, indeed. Judge Joe showing how good those Boreases are. I guess fairly lucky they're not firebombs since those spirits would have absorbed them.
And Judge Joe threw first. Nice little Cure 3 there for the effort.
Yeah, nothing to sneeze at. You don't have a white mage, and I guess at this point you probably would rather have Tella attacking. Judge Joe going right over to Baron Inn, obviously one of our objectives, but also a character check. And you're getting real close to getting that ready online. I think she might actually have 60 MP by now for that Bahamut cast. But if you pick up something like that Cane that you found that another Boreas there, hey, there's that Cane. And a Thunderclaw to boot.
Definitely good in here, and of course you can rest before the fight. Looks like Scarcerer is struggling a little bit.
Yeah, things getting a little dicey, unfortunately, but still getting them down. I think, you get that last skeleton, you only have one punch, toss a cure two, and you'll be in the clear.
And it's King Queen Evelyn as the first fight here.
This is a little bit of a bummer because it probably actually takes longer than a single target at only, like 600 HP at this spot.
Yeah, you really want to see them in the second spot. But Scarcerer did get through the fight.
Indeed, and heading right on over to Fable, going to be a good play to go over here once again. Those G items really being almost the true price here as opposed to the pink tail. And there's Golbez, your other boss hunt, the other hit list member. Can we possibly go faster on this seed?
I mean, I guess you could go straight to Waterfall, skip ordeals entirely, and yeah, this is going to be quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Judge Joe showing a real heads up play here. The hold that Golbez does as part of his script is actually pretty low on the priority list of status effects. So things like Piggy and the poison status will actually overrule and prevent that hold from taking place. Gives you control. You still don't know who Shadow's going to devour here, but at the same time, it helps you get those Starvilles up that much quicker because you're not waiting for the hold to wear off.
Smartly casting life.
That is the other interesting thing. This particular boss spot is very, very slow, so you can get ahead of it real quick, get that life up, and
get a Bahamut out before Golbez can even act.
You've got a dragon. Well, so do we, sir.
Don't worry, Golbez, I think they are ending it. Golbez could not even get a single spell out. That is amazing.
And a Blizzard Spear for our trouble. So not a key item, but at this point, not much to worry about either.
It would help if it's a ruby there at Waterfall.
True, we did see a ruby. Actually, I believe we did see earlier that it is element, so it's a quarter of ruby.
True. So, yeah, that spear actually could help get through Waterfall and end this.
Yeah, actually, that would be a fantastic setup to get Kane up in the air, punch the Mylon Z form down, get it to change over, and that jump will absolutely annihilate Ruby.
And Scarsher through the cane also at Fable Defense.
Likewise, Judge Joe into the waterfall boss and his final objective to win this race. Smartly throwing that very wonderful Kier 3. Hey, you know what? That wasn't for me. That was for Mylon Z.
And using a Boreas on the Ruby.
Fantastic
And
setup.
it's over.
You don't
GG's
even
out in chat.
you don't even need to attack. You can just use items. And GG's to Judge Joe on a really fantastically run race.
We'll get the official time here in a bit, and we'll see if Judge Joe will be joining us for an interview. Meanwhile, Scarcerer is going into the waterfall himself and facing off against the elements.
With that ding in there, we do have Judge Joe. GG's on the very lovely 14:31 time today.
Thanks. Was a fun seed.
Have you even had time to formulate your thoughts on that seed yet?
It was a pretty simple one. There was a lot of the overworld locations required, 3 of them, so you just need to get one of 3 key items on the overworld would make it really easy. Otherwise, just need to find one of the 2 bosses. And, well, I guess I managed to find both.
Yeah, I was about to say, instead they threw you both. So, speaking of having, a fairly easy objective list in front of you, before going in and actually kicking off the race, what was your thoughts on your strategy?
So my strategy was pretty much just kind of solo scramble, get the minimal needed to clear those 3 locations, because I've been, not recently, but I've been doing a lot of the solo scramble seeds, which had do the waterfall, do ordeals, do Baronin 2 of the 3 with 1 character. And, well, those were all objectives this time.
So I guess you could call this the spaghetti scramble seed today.
Yeah. Pretty much, Gang doesn't tell us much about what actually is going to be able to start clearing, but once we got the Rydia with the Bahamut Orb, I knew how I had power. Once I get 1 good fight worth of levels down Rydia, then it's simply a matter of finding a way to keep MP up for, say, ordeals, which was going to be my next step. However, Golbez showed up and meant I did not need to do that.
What did you think when you saw it was Golbez as the surprise second fight?
Neat. I get to fade ordeals.
Yeah.
And I say Bahamut was my power, but I only ended up casting it once this seed. So really what it was I saw Gauntlet, I didn't have AoEJ items. I went to try and get some levels. I was going to come back that eventually. And then I saw Boreas and went, alright, I'll sell everything for this. Spoon gone.
It was definitely excellent use of items.
Yeah, that Tello was pretty good because he knows Life 1, which I have. I don't know where life potions are, so if
No,
someone's
we
dead,
didn't see
they're
them, so
dead.
Yeah, he ends up being a perfectly good white mage when, you really only have 15 minutes worth of runway in front of you.
Yeah, was able to get a good venom. It was the best possible target. I guess Hella would have also been fine because it would have just swapped over to Rydia, and that same end result would have occurred. But Yang was possibly the best target for the Demolish because that way I could just get the life, have 3 parties, and was all set to rock. Good old Venom strats.
Yeah, it was interesting too because when you were in Fabul, obviously that shop was completely stacked, but you kind of turned down the Sylph summon and instead just went for the J items instead.
Oh, I didn't even notice there was Sylph.
yeah,
Not that I
Scarsor
think it
picked
would
it up.
change my mind, but Sylph is some decent single target, but we had Bahamut, so which clears 90% of fights as long as you have the MP, which I know from experience Rydia gets to 60 fairly fast. It took the entire gauntlet in this case to get there, but so it was mostly a matter of getting to that point and then getting it to where I could just lean on Rydia for the rest of the seat, however much that may be. Elements was the reason I didn't get my second Bahamut cast because the single Cure 3 can in fact kill the elements at that location. There was, I think, a solo Eddy seed just clear the waterfall where it was, let's see what we're dealing with. Fly over. Oh, elements. I have a stack of Cure 3s. Just need to live 1 or 2 punches.
Yeah, and it certainly lined up with that Cure 3 coming in from the, I think it was from a fight, and then the Boreases you'd already picked up. It was almost like you were just given the items to take care of that
Yeah,
elements fight.
yeah, we were expecting, maybe equip the Blizzard Spear on King, have him leap, punch out the.
Nope. It was either use items or Bahamut is the fast strat. So I hope I was able to show some fun things, and I'm gonna go and let Scarcer maybe head on in and have a good day as well. Hope you guys do too.
Enjoy all your extra free time.
Yeah, GG's again.
While we have a moment here, I'd like to once again thank everybody on the team, Hire and Joker Mage here, running things behind the scenes. And thank you again, Beauty and Discovery. And sounds like Scarcer's here and with us. GG's.
GG. Thank you.
Yeah, GG, Scarcer. So, going in, I imagine probably seeing the objective list, you thought it was going to be a short seed. Were you anticipating this short of a seed?
Yeah, this is about the length of seed I was anticipating. If it were like an edge start, I would have anticipated it to be quicker. Because I probably wouldn't have looted as much if it was edge. Just because Flame does wonders for Baron N. Especially since Golbez is weak to fire. But I didn't know it was Golbez.
Yeah, no, that was a nice little surprise, I think.
Yeah, it was, oh, that's how Joe finished so quickly. And I'm guessing he didn't do Fabul, did he?
Yeah, he did.
He did Fabul. Okay.
Yeah, he did Fabul. What he did is he reset out of that alt gauntlet on initial view because he didn't feel like he had the AoE, and with the Stardust and Boreas over there, that kind of helped kind of get that online. So yeah, I mean, looking at that Fabul gauntlet with the party you had, what was your thoughts going into it? Was it kick strats, or I know you were able to get 1 stone off on, ironically enough, the Cockatrice.
It was I knew I had a firebomb and a Gaia drum, so I knew that was 2 of them figured out.
Yeah.
And then it was crossing my fingers and hoping, and I was right. Almost.
Hey, you got through. That's what counts.
Yeah, it was slow. I should have reset out, but I didn't know where to go from there because Yang and Rydia doesn't exactly have the quickest start.
No. No, it was all down to what you decided to buy, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not the quickest start, but like that Bahamut summon or must have been really interesting as well. Did you have a plan for that in terms of trying to get Riddy online quickly, or just who
Oh,
cares about that? Or
that's also why I was diving Hobbs immediately. Hobbs is a character. Hobbs is a little bit of XP, and then Fabul is a free heal to go and I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10 between Hobbs and Fabul, you'll have enough MP for 1 Bahamut cast, which gets you through the waterfall.
yeah, definitely. I think before that lovely Golbez showed up there in Baron Inn, you probably were having to look at that Ordeals, and I think the tricky thing with Ordeals and Rydia is that Bahamut probably isn't going to last you a whole ton unless you have something like Ethers or camping gear. So, I saw you pick up the Sylph. Were you in the back of your head while you're running that before you saw Golbez formulating a plan for how do I get through Ordeals?
So I saw going into setting up my save going into Fabul that I didn't have enough MP to cast Bahamut yet. So I checked the item shop hoping exactly for Sylph because Sylph only costs 20